Thank you very much, Mr. President. I rise, colleagues, to echo the comments of my two colleagues, Senator Mitchell, who just recently was the chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, as well as my colleague here, who's the chair currently of the Jewish Legislative Caucus, Senator Marty Block. I want to give a very, very special thank you to Senator Holly Mitchell, as well as to Senator Isidore Hall, for bringing this to the floor as we commemorate, as we recognize one of the greatest historical figures, not just in the United States of America, but throughout the world. We are going to see, which Senator Holly Mitchell will introduce, a video as well as we commemorate and we recognize and we take a moment of reflection regardless of who we are, regardless of our political persuasion, and regardless of our own ethnicity and our own origins. As Americans, we rise up together to deal with the pressing issues that are before us. Now, as Senator Block as well as Mitchell just articulated very eloquently, much progress has been made. No doubt about that. But when we open our eyes and we walk into the world eyes wide open, we also see that there's much work to do still left. Whether it's the issue of poverty, and we look at the statistics, who's poor in the United States and who's poor in California in proportion to the numbers of their own ethnicity in the United States, it proves that we have much work to do. When we talk about and we look about the issue of education and the inequities that exist in education, and we know that education is the greatest equalizer that we have in a society that continues to be stratified based on race and ethnicity and legal status. Some folks call it the achievement gap. I tend to call it the opportunity gap, because the same opportunities do not exist for certain children who live in certain zip codes with certain type of skin color as opposed to others. So all the opportunities are not available. When we talk about something simple as nutrition and food deserts, who gets access to fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit? Certain communities have access to it, others don't. When we talk about financial empowerment and creation of wealth, on who gets access to capital and who doesn't get access to capital, and the financial instruments that are created, the tools out there that perpetuate wealth, and others are shut out from wealth. When we talk about higher education and we look at the numbers, whether it's the University of California or the Cal State system, is it a reflection of the diversity in the fabric of the state of California? I think collectively we know that is not the case. When we think about the media and how the media portrays us, people of color, whether it's Hollywood or whether it's journalism, how we're portrayed in the media to the viewership throughout the country, throughout our own state here, speaks volumes and proves that we have so much more work to do. But that's why what we do on this floor collectively, as Republicans and as Democrats, as African Americans, Latinos, Jewish Americans, Asian Americans, white Americans, but first and foremost, Californians and Americans, what we do on this floor and what we do in our policy committees, what we do in our fiscal committees matters. It matters because it helps improve the human condition for so many individuals that are still shut out from progress in this country. This is a very important, commemoration, because we take reflection, because we must take reflection of where we're at today and where we need to be tomorrow. And that's why I want to thank, again, our just recently chair of the Black Legislative Caucus, as well as Mr. Isidore Hall, because this is not just a symbolism of this is what we do on an annual basis. We take this day or this month, February, upcoming month, February, Black History Month, as sort of kind of this on autopilot. It is a moment where we have to take really deep reflection, especially what's going on throughout the country, what's going on here in California. BART right now is shut down in Oakland and in San Francisco. And that is tied to the issue of the inequities that are happening right now. So I want to thank, again, our colleagues for bringing this issue up. And again, during the course of this weekend, and especially on Monday, when we have our parades throughout our state here, that we take deep reflection on how we can really move the ball forward so all Americans, all Californians can prosper in the greatest country on planet Earth. Thank you, Mr. President.